We did it. Episode number 2.
Yep.
We're back.
We're back.
Welcome to What's Trending. I'm Randy Filiault and my co-host.
Deb Hamel.
And you got your voice back.
A little bit, I do.
I thought it was going to be a really good show this week because Deb texted me like a day ago and said she had no voice. I'm like, cool. But it came back.
I said pigs are flying. I lost my voice.
So, why don't you tell us about your crazy weekend before we get on to things that are much more important or much less important?
It was a crazy weekend. I went to my hometown, Charlestown, New Hampshire, and it was Old Home Days, and they had a parade. So, of course, I went up to the front, stood by a really cute police officer.
Saw that.
I was waving and yelling, and then the party just went on and on and on and on, and I guess I talked too much, which is highly unlike me.
Stunned.
Had a fantastic day in Charlestown. It's great reconnecting with old friends.
Yeah. So you didn't get arrested. Tried. You tried to get those handcuffs.
I got yelled at for jaywalking. It's Charlestown, New Hampshire. There's, you blink, you're through it.
And so you're going to be heading back up again this weekend.
This
you
weekend
just can't get enough of Charlestown.
This weekend
huh?
is Fall Mountain alumni. So no, I'll be in Walpole.
Oh, another big city. Really hitting it up.
Metropolis.
So that was it. That was your whole week. That was it. Just fun.
That was it, and I've been recouping ever since. How about you?
I had a quiet week actually. I was living at City Hall.
Oh wow.
It was just.
That sounds like fun.
It's been one of those stretches of committee meetings and workshops and city managers and parking people and
right. Czars
here and czars there and
here a czar, there a czar.
Everywhere czars are. And then of course the more meetings I go to, the more I get to see Rick Blood. I come here, I see him. You go to meetings, you see him.
Rick Blood is great.
Oh, I just see more of him than I see of my wife. And
don't say it.
Don't even go there, Rick.
Don't say it.
Anyhow, so
yes.
Being that our show is called What's Trending, we get a new sign. You see that?
Fabulous. New background, as we promised.
Yep.
It's here.
Every week it's going to get bigger and bigger. And when we go out and you see you multimillionaires for donations, it's even going to get better.
And we are looking for sponsors.
Money.
Tax deductible.
Tax deductible sponsors.
Name credit.
Yep. We will be going out there and asking, and I'll be, polite and low-key asking. She won't be. So hope that I show up, because if Deb shows up, you're contributing.
That's right.
There's going to be no doubt about that.
I do not take no for an answer.
Nope.
Talk to me.
Stuff going on this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start off with what's hot trending in Keene lately, and unfortunately, it kind of goes back to the drug issues we got going on.
Right.
It's that we've had 3 purse snatchings this week, just in Keene itself. And the thing that concerned me that's come true, a couple of them were just grab and run, snatch and grabs. But we just had one, I believe it was yesterday, in the parking lot of TD Bank in West Street in the middle of the afternoon. Woman goes into the bank, she comes out, she gets in a car, guy gets on the other side of the car with a gun.
Wow.
And that's definitely
that's when
concerning.
it's like hitting critical mass. You're redlining at that point, because once it's armed.
Yeah. No, it's and the part that scares me is usually they're desperate for their cash for their daily drug fix.
Right.
They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're thinking about then.
Right
and
now.
I'm just scared that at some point, somebody's going to have that, itchy trigger finger, they call it. Somebody's going to resist. And
But you had the last show we did that evening. You were going to have the meeting on putting together a committee and things like that. I watched that on Cheshire TV. Shameless plug.
Everything important is right here. This is the only channel you need to watch.
This is it. This is
the
it.
one.
So has the committee been put together?
It is being put together. I talked to the mayor about it last night. He's contacted a lot of people to be on it.
Right.
It's that time of year that some people are on vacation.
Yes.
So he's trying to pull it together. I talked to him last night about it. Within the next couple of weeks, he said August, and it's just about August now.
We're almost there.
And all the people that are going to be on, I know I'm going to be on it. I'm pretty much sure what level I'm going to be on, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay, sounds good.
There'll be a lot of community leaders on that, a lot of emergency personnel that see this all the time. And so stay tuned. And speaking about that, just looking on the front of the Manchester Useless Leader today,
hey.
It does talk about the heroin, all over New Hampshire. And
right.
They had a community forum last night or a couple nights ago. And, about 220 people showed up, and people are asking, the citizens of Manchester are asking, why Manchester? But it's the same with all of us. We're saying, why Keene? People in Concord had a meeting. They said, why Concord? it's all of us.
It is.
It's all of us.
It is all of us. And you think about like Manchester is it's a quite a diverse city.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of people come up, and it's there's an easy drive up from Massachusetts.
Yep.
And here we are close to 91, and as you said,
Yep.
and you're close to the major thoroughfares, that's where you're going to see it more.
We were talking about Bellows Falls since you were
Yes.
hanging out there. And for a small town, it has way more sheriff's problems than they should. But it's just for that reason. The dealers come up 91. They get off at Brattleboro, they get off at Bellows Falls, they
Right.
get off at Springfield. They drop it down to the next level down.
Exactly.
And they head back. And that's why, if you read, the papers and the internet, and you'll see Bellows Falls, Bellows Falls, Bellows Falls. A lot of it's because the Drug Task Force, they know they're coming in.
They do.
It's not like this random thing where the cop happens to just say, "Hey, well, look at that, 5 kilos of heroin." It's what all this behind the scenes,
Right.
the underground, the Drug Task Force. I saw a couple of comments actually on Facebook where somebody said they've witnessed a couple of small drug dealings and why haven't they been busted? We see this. Why don't the police see this? The police see it.
They see it.
They know what's going on.
They're keeping tabs.
Yep. If you're just that small, the small low-level dealer,
Right.
You're not the one they want. They're trying to find where the big fish are.
Right, and we were talking before we started filming about in Vermont, a child care worker, child support worker.
Over in Bennington?
Yes,
Bennington, Vermont?
in the Bennington area. And she was taken into custody, and her bail was only $5,000, and she had a lot with her. I don't have the exact amount. And it was a big discussion, why bail only $5,000 when she probably had to then spend only $500 and she was out. But I believe that's the way Vermont is. That's their threshold.
I believe that's their statute over there. And
Right.
That might have to take a look at that. The sad part was she worked in a state office that helped, especially children that had been through situations with parents that dealt drugs.
Surrounding this.
And the unfortunate part of that is obviously what she did. And the sad part was she had connections.
Yes.
Because everybody that came into that office had problems, and she knew who to deal to.
Exactly.
And that's tragic, but
It's just a shame, but
it's not uncommon.
no. So
It's not uncommon.
moving right along.
Yeah, and I did see a couple of comments. Like I said, I saw somebody say, "Well, see, I saw a drug deal," and my comment was, "Well, did you call the police?"
Right.
Don't just turn your head and look away. If you see it, call.
Lip service isn't going to help in this situation.
Nope. Complaining on Facebook and saying I didn't do anything about it doesn't do a damn thing.
Don't be a spectator, be a participator.
There you go.
Hey.
That's a good quote.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
Thank
pretty
you.
impressed.
Well, so am
So
I.
that's it with the heroin issue. We'll talk about it a little bit each week, and as the committee gets formed, we'll talk about it. Because honestly, when you say what's trending, this will be trending for a while.
Yes.
Because it's not
All
going
over.
away; it's getting a lot worse, and
Right.
now we've got armed robberies in town because of it. So, moving on. Oh, speaking about that, so this Saturday night I'll be back out riding with the police again, which I do quite a few times during the year.
Yes.
I usually do it when college comes back, because usually that's when things are going on. But I wanted to do it specifically a couple times before they come back now, because we blame everything on the college,
We do.
because they're an easy target.
It is.
So I wanted to get out there with the police this weekend, and especially with all the heroin and drug dealings that are going on.
That's a good idea. I'd like to do that. I'd like to go on a ride along.
Yep. You'll probably. No comment. I'm not even going there.
And I
It'd
know
be an
which
interesting
police
ride.
officer I want to ride along
Oh,
with.
it has to be specific.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
James.
Won't even go there.
Okay.
She already did.
All right.
So,
go ahead.
gonna do that Saturday. So, what's going on in the city this week? Trending. Like I said, I've been living at City Hall. Parking. That's
Parking.
back on the agenda again. And I'm sure
No
you've...
more meter readers. They're taking the parking meters out.
Oh, and if somebody shuts off the show right now, they're going to say, guess what I just heard? Well, that's interesting you say that, because that's been brought up. Why don't you get rid of the meters? And it's because it doesn't work. It was tried a couple times in the 70s and in the 80s in Keene, and the merchants said get rid of them.
Right.
Well, what happens is, you got a lot of people living in the downtown area.
They take the spots.
They take the spots, and they just stay there all day.
Right.
So, that's why.
There's a purpose to
Yeah,
it.
there's a purpose, and that's why the meters downtown are only 2-hour meters rather than like 10-hour meters. The intent is to have people moving around,
Yes.
shopping, grabbing something, grabbing lunch, moving around.
Yes.
So, but
currently they're redoing a parking garage on Wells Street.
That is correct. The parking garage out behind the Fireworks Restaurant down there. They'll be out of commission for a while. Needed work. Unfortunately, it's one of those open garages without a roof, so it takes a pounding from the weather, and it was starting to fall apart a little bit. So people that park there have to find another place to park. Okay. But they did point out last night that we're good with parking spaces for several more years. We're not at 100%. So that's something to monitor down the road. But you don't want to have to go building parking garages and things if you don't need them.
Right. Correct.
And as we know with people in downtown Keene, if you can't park right in front of the store, they don't want to stop.
I know, they just keep on trucking.
They'll keep going around and around and around and around, rather than parking across the street and walking across the street. Have you watched that? So we discussed it last night. It was what we call a workshop, so we can speak more freely and not, we didn't vote on anything last night.
More of a round table discussion.
Yes, a round table and a square table is what it was.
There you go.
So we'll be bringing it back up in a couple of weeks at a formal meeting. My gut feeling is your basic meter rates will increase from like 50 cents an hour to 75 cents an hour. Not a big deal. I've been pretty vocal on some of the things I'm opposed to. I don't want the hours extended into the evening because people that go out to eat or go to a movie shouldn't risk getting a parking ticket.
This is true.
And I don't want the fines increased, even though it's a cheap $5 and a lot of other communities are more expensive.
But it's a fact of remembering to put that money in that envelope and pay it.
Yep. And
Not that I have.
$5 isn't much, but I've said it doesn't matter because once you get that orange ticket, you're just mad.
Yes.
So I want that left alone. If we can agree that we're just raising the meter rates just a little bit, then I'm fine with it. But if we try to push everything back on the table, I'm going to say no.
Gotcha.
Because they did show that just increasing the meter rate will keep it solvent at least 3 or 4 more years. So I'm good with that. And if in 3 or 4 more years, if you need to do something else, well, then the thing we need to look at is why do we keep needing to do something else? What do we need to fix?
Everything.
Maybe. We need to get you on city council, right?
No.
So that was that. Now, let's talk about, you got a little thing over there. As much as I don't like talking Pumpkin Fest anymore because that story has run its course.
I was down in Florida hearing about the Pumpkin Fest, and it's like,
down there, back on the riots.
I heard about it. And Laconia Pumpkin Festival, the organizers have yet to decide whether to try to break the Guinness World Record for the most lit. It's going to be October 24th, and I was surprised. It's going to be presented by Let It Shine, and they were the ones who organized the Keene Pumpkin Festival from 2011 to 2014, as well as the Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce. So. And our record was what, 30,581?
Yeah, something like that. The whole problem with the record was, and I think that's where things went bad. We were talking quantity.
Yes.
And quantity brought in more people brought in more bad people.
This is correct.
And also quantity, the cost of security went through the roof. And, you get to a certain point where it's like, how much do you hold taxpayers accountable?
That's right.
And it got to the point, it's like we just weren't holding taxpayers accountable anymore.
I agree with that decision.
We talk about things that we beat each other up at city council at budget meetings, and all of a sudden we're talking a couple $100,000 for security for an event. It's like, no.
To watch the garbage cans and things like that.
And to watch, some meatheads.
So now it's known
throw
as
beer bottles.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
I love that group.
Another story for another day.
Okay.
With that said, Channel 9 last night actually had about a 15-minute little piece on the riots at Pumpkin Fest, and they talked to 3 of the guys that got arrested, and it was actually kind of a really weak.
Yes.
It was weak.
Fluff.
It was just, I didn't mean it. They shouldn't have arrested me. The police shouldn't have pushed me just because I was standing in their faces, spitting at them and swearing.
Shaking the street signs.
Back in my day, which is quite a few years ago, you get in a cop's face and swore at him and spit on him.
Forget about it.
And then when they brought you home, then you were in the real trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
tell my parents. Don't tell my parents.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because you think I'm in trouble now. So they did a little story on it last night, but whatever. But with that said, you talk about the Pumpkin Fest in Laconia. One of the sponsors that used to do Pumpkin Fest also in Keene is now doing one at the fairgrounds on the same night they're doing the one in Laconia.
Right.
So I encourage everybody, do not drive to Laconia. They don't need the tax dollars. They do not need the money for the nonprofits, which, by the way,
you're a killjoy.
They're all going down to the fairgrounds, your nonprofit.
Yes.
So for no other reason, go down to the Monadnock Pumpkin Festival and support the nonprofits.
There you go.
Because there was a lot of concern when we voted not to do this anymore. They said, well, what about the nonprofits? Here's your chance to support them.
There you go.
Put your $1 or $2 where your mouth is and support them.
Gotcha.
So, anyhow, that's it on that one.
Okay, that's it on Keene. Let's talk about...
It's really not, but I'll come back to stuff later if we have more time. Go for it.
Let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
So, you watch the news and they're talking a lot about the upcoming, I believe it's August 6th, the upcoming debate. And Fox News has decided to do it according to polling numbers. Like, who's polling, so then we can have 10. We're not going to have the whole, 10 dozen people that are running for office be up there. So in lieu of that, the Manchester Union Leader and Des Moines Register, I believe, and another paper, they're doing their own on August 3rd. And they're going to let everybody talk. However, it's not called a debate. That will be called a forum, because I believe the RNC only allows a few. And this year it's going to be even less, which I think is good. But, I agree with what Joe McQuaid said, the publisher of the Union Leader. He had said that Fox is basically taken away New Hampshire's choice and Iowa's choice. It's up to us, first in the nation primary, God bless it. And Iowa, let's see all the candidates and see what they all have to say, and then we can choose for ourselves. We don't need Fox News or anybody else choosing for us to winnow the field, but Donald Trump, go get him, Donald.
Well, as far as us needing Fox News to do that, we don't need Fox News anyhow.
Yeah, we do.
Man, if I could turn on Channel 6, which is a local here, and they were gone, oh, God, that'd be so much better. We could put on something like, a Mickey Mouse cartoon or something a little bit more reliable.
You're a Mickey Mouse cartoon. So what happened is so everybody's pretty much said, oh, yes, I'm in, I'll do it, the candidates. What does Donald Trump say? No. I'm not standing on your stage. I'm not doing this because...
You didn't endorse me.
They didn't endorse him, and they wrote something about him when it came to John McCain. He didn't like what they wrote. But he also did that, when the paper in Des Moines said something about him, he did not let them come to one of his events. He's like, you don't want me? Okay, lose yourself.
Take my ball and go home.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to this, and I'm dying. I really want to go. I really want to go to this upcoming forum. So I've put in for my name and your name.
Oh, God.
So if you can't go, that's all right.
I'll tell you, if nothing else, that would be entertaining.
Oh,
I mean, just
I'm
to
excited.
watch so many boneheads on one stage. I mean, that would be phenomenal.
Please.
And
I'm going to see John Kasich this Friday.
Yep. I was going to try to make it, but I can't get there because I'm working. And Holly's probably going to stop up.
Good.
And check it out. Because like I said, whether I support the candidate or not, I like to try to see them
Right.
all at least once.
That's what's
and
great.
in New Hampshire, you can, on one given day, you can probably see 3 of them.
You can.
So yeah, the old Trump man.
The Donald.
The Donald. You know who's really backing Donald Trump? Every Democrat in the country. Because
Sure.
if Trump is the candidate, it will be the biggest bloodbath. It'll be overwhelming how the Trump man is sent back to his casinos.
Why? Because do you think that Hillary, if she can stay out of jail, what do you think? Do you think Hillary would beat Donald Trump?
I can beat Donald Trump.
And why? They're digging things up from 30 years ago that his former wife said about him, that she has now said, I didn't say it, he'd be a great president. But how many emails did she get rid of? 34,000? And there's a 2-month period.
You know why?
There's a 2-month period that they're not even there. Once you do any government business on your cell phone, your laptop, or anything, that's their thing. And you know that it's like, meeting in the sunshine type things that everything you do, it's open to public, unless it's a non-public session. But who does she think she is?
Oh, well, I think she's going to be president. That's
I'll just give her. She's definitely not. She's definitely not. She has negative numbers. People don't trust her.
Like we trust Trump?
People do not trust her. People like Trump. I watched yesterday, he was giving a speech, and you know how they do the numbers? They do the graph. And it's like, as he's talking, sometimes they'll go down, sometimes they'll go up. But even the people who were doing the polling said, this is so hard to read, because it looked like people were going, all right, zip it, baby. They were still saying, I love him, I love the authenticity. Everybody's always said, we're sick of politicians, we're sick of this, and it's like we want somebody who's real and genuine. And he's pretty real and genuine.
I guess Republicans are going to have to find somebody else then.
Next subject. Oh, well,
Oh, she wants to get off it that quick.
Oh,
The
no,
only way
I'll
to
keep
trip
going.
up Donald Trump, the only way you can really trip him up is to ask him an intelligent question. I mean, that's
That's
it.
not
Other
true.
Other than that, he's pretty good.
That's-
Okay, you can ask him a stupid question.
which if you were there, you would.
Oh, yeah, definitely. What do you mean by that? So the Trump man.
Yes.
Anyhow, speaking of candidates, Chris Christie is back in town again.
Yes.
You know, he's, in my personal opinion, I think he probably would have the best chance because if you're going to be a presidential candidate, whether some of the far-right Republicans like it or not, you've got to draw moderate Democrats or Democrats
Right.
have to draw moderate Republicans and the independents.
Correct.
And Chris Christie, whether you like him or not,
I like
and
him.
I've met him a couple times, he has enough centrist in him where I think he could pull some moderates.
And he has that authenticity as well. You know, when I interviewed him, I says, hey, before Trump came on, I was like, I love it. You just, you know, if it's here and here, it comes out. The best was I was reading something online and he, a news story, and he says, hey, potheads in Colorado. He goes, if I'm president, the pot party is over. He said he'll make it illegal. But I mean, to come out of nowhere, we're talking about immigration, we're talking about this, and it's like out of nowhere, he does something like that. But
And whether I
but
agree or
that's
disagree
Christie.
with somebody, you know, and he does kind of say, you know, he speaks kind of bluntly.
He does.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I have no problem
If
with
you're going
that.
to say something, make sure you have your info to back it up and stand by what you say. Don't go running in a corner or deleting your emails.
Yeah, and you know why most of the Republicans aren't complaining about that? Because they're looking at their cell phones going,
Not me.
with the exception of one.
Yes.
And honestly, that is really truthfully why a lot of people aren't making a big stink about it, because if they start digging into everybody's emails, I mean,
Right.
and going back, they're going to find
Right.
a lot of deletions.
Everybody makes mistakes.
You know, and it's we dealt with it on the city council just
Right.
recently as far as, you know, what emails are public, what emails aren't, because it's new.
Right.
You know, and I know
Everything's public. When
you
you're
know,
together as a board in a convened meeting, or if there's a majority of board members having a discussion, you know, if you were getting coffee on Main Street there, and then there was 2 other city councilors came, or 3, that would be considered, you know, meeting in the sunshine. It's not
you
not
have to be-
posted.
you have to be careful. If
You do.
If 8 city councilors show up at a restaurant and start talking, I mean that can be considered a quorum.
It can.
Or even 3 of us on a committee.
This is true.
You know, and sometimes, you know, 3 people on a committee, you go out for breakfast, you go out and grab a beer or something. You cannot discuss policy.
No, you can't.
You know, you can
Or
get together.
votes or anything like that. and-
Because if you look at like Swansea, I mean, they used to have 3 selectmen and 2 of them were related.
Right.
So at family reunion, they had a quorum.
It's Christmas, open the presents. Oh, by the way, how are you going
You
to
know,
vote on this?
exactly.
thing? You know what
And
I
that's
mean?
technically illegal. So, and now that's transferred over into cell phones.
Gotcha.
Like if I take a call on my phone and it's about city business, does my phone records now become public?
Yes.
And that's the whole argument
They
about
do.
that. So we have to be careful
It's
what we
called
say on
public
cell phones.
servant. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
Anyhow, so yes, talking about candidates that say what they say, mean what they mean. It's like when somebody runs for city council and you hear them say, I'm going to go in and lower your taxes. You're like, well, how are you going to do that?
Right.
And they go, I don't know, but when I get there, I will. Same thing with presidential candidates. I'm going to go in and do this, this, and that. Really?
And everybody has the best of intentions, but things change.
When you get there.
Things change when you get there, and also it depends on who is backing you and who's funding you. And I think that's why Trump has so much appeal, because it's not, you know, once somebody gives you a donation, I ran for State House, I know, you know, and you've ran, it's like somebody can give you $50 and it's like, well, you better vote this way and
Yeah.
you better do that. It's like, wait a minute, you like me because I said what I stand for and I'm going to do this and I'm going to clean house, and it's not like that. Once you take a donation, you're owned.
Yep, and I don't. I
No.
just go out and, you know, only thing I do is buy a few campaign signs and go put them out there, and I don't take any money from anybody.
And
because
then
you're
when
exactly
you leave,
right.
I go pick them up and put them in my trunk and throw them in the dump.
That's where they went.
No, that's illegal. Hey,
It is.
let's talk about a subject we talked about last week. I've taken some flack on it, the
You
Planned
know what? We only got
Parenthood.
3 minutes left, too. Can you believe that?
Okay, this is going to be quick. Planned Parenthood. Somebody said
That's
to me,
fast.
I can't believe, you know, that you're going after what Planned Parenthood does. No. I believe I'm pro-choice. It's everybody's own decision, and so that wasn't my point at all. What I am upset about is what Planned Parenthood is doing and trafficking body parts and things. And there was a 3rd video that came out, and it's disgusting. I watched it for a little while, and I just couldn't. They're still talking about prices and this and that. Defund them. I don't want taxpayer dollars going for this, and they're like black marketing, you know.
Well, I disagree
Stuff.
with the defunding because Planned Parenthood is much more than just that. There's a lot more than just abortion.
Yeah, I know, but meanwhile, they're making money
Yep. So anyhow, it's okay. You're wrong.
off of something
that's
that's
okay.
illegal.
Actually,
I'm wrong.
on the front of the useless leader, as far as defunding them. I mean,
Oh.
it talks about that when in our Representative Bill O'Brien, who is, in my opinion, the worst person to ever get elected to any position in the state of New Hampshire. He called.
How do you really feel?
If you deal with Planned Parenthood, you're Nazis. You know, never compare anything to Hitler or Nazis because it's not going to go over well.
Yeah, Mike Huckabee
Yeah.
brought up the Holocaust.
Yeah, he did. He got
That was
trounced for that.
It was a little touchy.
There's some
but
things you just don't compare to. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. There's issues there. Don't defund them, but clean up their act.
defund them, I say.
Nope.
So we're going down to 2 minutes.
One thing I want to talk about, I wanted
What?
to get back to a local thing. We talked about the drug issue. State Senator Andy Sanborn came out recently and was complaining that the drug czar, Jack Wozniak, he wanted him to resign because he wasn't doing enough to fight the drug problem.
Right.
Well, Mr. Sanborn, who owns the building downtown that Fat Stuff is in, who got raided by the DEA.
Wow.
You know, you better start putting your money where your mouth is. If you're so against drugs, you might want to watch who your current tenant is.
Thoughts and statements given by Randy Filiault in no way have anything to do with me or Cheshire TV.
No, I just speak facts. So anyhow, that's it on that.
Let's end on a sweet
Only
subject.
a minute left. That's unbelievable. We might have to go to 60 minutes here at some point.
I made about 3,000 pancakes the other day when I heard there was syrup all around the roundabout.
Yep, you got there a little bit late.
Grade A from Bascom's in Elstead.
That's an
I know the
expensive spill.
Bascom's. Yes.
In other fluffy news, if you watch The Bachelorette, which my wife has me watch all the time, okay, I'll like whatever.
Aw.
The guy that won it is a 2009 graduate of Keene State College.
I saw that.
And he used to be a customer in my old establishment, so I knew who he was. I want some money back.
Yes.
So we got 30 seconds left. What else you got? Tom Brady, free Tom Brady.
No.
Free.
He was wrong. He got rid of the evidence. I love him. He's
No, you
gorgeous.
got to read the whole thing.
I did read the whole thing.
You
But
did-
you don't dispose of the evidence because that right there is a criminal act in itself. Hillary Clinton.
Okay, I got my attorney sitting beside me. She does this when I have like 10 seconds
I
left.
got my law degree at JCPenney's. And we're out.
No,
Goodbye.
almost 9 seconds left. Cheshire Fairs this week. Go down there, say hi to everybody. It'll be fun. I'll see you there. And I don't have any more time to talk about anything. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.